like a long time in the making. Our schedules are crazy. And you are a very busy lady. You are an entrepreneur. You got a gym. You're a wife. You're a mother. You're a dog mom. You're doing all the things. Tell me about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me,
Of
first of
course.
all. And yes, we've been going back and forth. Super excited to be here. It's such an honor to be in a woman exclusive podcast. Like, this is so perfect. This is so, right up my alley. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Karina Melo. I am the owner and founder of KFit Boutique Gym, which is a woman exclusive facility. Thanks to the pandemic, and I say thanks because I never ever would have thought of this. We now have a small men's program, and is mainly made out of the lovely husbands and brothers and family members of my ladies who know about us, who have seen their transformations, and who were so intrigued about what we do that they decided to join us for our first men's challenge, and then decided to stick around and have now been with us for over 6-7 months.
Wow.
So it's also super exciting. They have their own little gang growing, and I love to see that progress. But yes, essentially, we are a female exclusive facility. And the way that this went about is actually a funny story because I started my gym in my garage. After trying to train at gyms and trying to train outdoors and at clients' homes, I decided to build my studio in my garage. And my train of thought was, I really don't want to have guys that I don't know coming to my home. So I'm going to train women only. And that is really how it went out. After that, I decided to get specialized in women's fitness. And then I started to just develop this passion of like everything I've lived. And the reason that I went into fitness is exactly what I want to pass on to all my ladies. So it just became very relatable and the community grew. We had to leave my garage 11 months into the making because we
Wow.
outgrew the space. Thanks to my clients, their amazing results. They were walking billboards all over the place. One client will bring me 3, 4, 5, and we needed to grow. It kind of like happened very organically and very fast. Um, Other than that, yes, I do have two amazing little extraordinary humans that I am the mother to, and a four-legged child as well. My son is 10. He is a little soccer superstar and he wants to be a DJ, for which he's taken lessons. My daughter is a year and a half, and she is a little demanding diva. I'm sure you can relate. Having a little one at home is definitely a challenge and a half. The lessons that she has taught me in this year and a half, especially because I had Sebastian 10 years ago, is like doing it all over again. Needless to say, I'm a lot more mature. I'm able to manage my time differently. And she was born right before the pandemic, which being home with her was one of the biggest blessings of COVID and having to quarantine. So that is regarding my two kids. My dog is a 5-year-old, almost 6-year-old pit bull. She was a rescue, and that's all I'll ever have, rescued pit bulls. I love pitties. I was in the veterinary field for 14 years
Wow.
before
I didn't know that.
training. Yes. I always wanted to be a vet since I was little. So the minute that I graduated high school, I applied. I couldn't go away to vet school because the financials weren't there, and I did not have papers at the time. I came to this country when I was 14 from Colombia. So going away to vet school was not an option. I applied to the local veterinary nursing program and I got accepted right away. It was magical to me. I worked in the veterinary field for 14 years. I worked at the ASPCA in the city for 10 of those 14, and I loved every second of it. At the very end, I had to make some changes that started with personal changes, which I'll tell you about later. And because of that, I ended up having a personal training side job that then grew to the point where I had to put my veterinary nursing career on the back burner and just run with this because it was amazing. It went great. What else do I tell you? I met my husband 5 years ago, and he's amazing. I'll tell you more about him later for sure. He's an amazing partner in crime. He's an amazing dad to both my son and my daughter. He met Sebastian when he was 4, and has been a great, great, great parent ever since. So seeing him with Sophia now that she's little, it's really like, falling in love with him all over again.
Oh.
Yeah, he's awesome. And he's also a great part of my business, right? Having someone to back me up, to support me, to deal with my crazy hours, my crazy idea, my crazy projects. It's imperative when you run a business. And he's been that and some more. And that is pretty much it. I run an amazing, amazing community of people. And I say that I run because I come up with crazy things and they're always there backing me up. Like if I say, we're gonna turn our business virtual, they're like, sure, where do we log in? If I say we're gonna start training outdoors, they're like, perfect. Do I wear sandals or shoes? Um, so I am so proud of the movement that we have put together and the incredible amount of people that are in it, and the beautiful accomplishments that I get to see happen, within it. And I think I recapped it all.
Well, it's so rewarding being in the fitness space and really seeing those transformations because
Yes,
when you have I think when you have your own space and you create a community, they are completely invested. They're all in, so you can see those changes as opposed to like, oh, I'm going to train you once a week,
correct.
and it's
Yes, you
like
don't
that
get to see
doesn't
those
work.
things in a big box gym. Having a boutique gym or a micro gym really allows that community feel, and you get to know your members by name. You know their families, you know their stories. We really approach fitness from the life coaching perspective at KFit, which allows me to really get to know them. So they're not numbers, like they
Hmm.
each have a story, and we get to know about it. So it's
Yes,
super
super important.
important.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm going to dive a little bit deeper
But
into, well, first thing, your voice. We'll just
oh
knock
my God, my voice. Before we get started, let me take a sip of water because my voice.
that. So when I was in the fitness space and I was teaching, I went through a thing where had I had to see a vocal therapist, a vocal coach. I couldn't speak for 2 weeks. I had, like the calluses on my vocal cords, all these
Yes,
things. And as we previously said, it's a real issue for people in the fitness space because as with any other muscle, you have to warm it up. You have to, stretch it out. You do this, you do that with it. And your vocal cord is the exact same thing. And no one ever teaches you this. So it's
correct.
crazy to see that it's a thing. If it happened to me, I don't know, 6 years ago, it's happening to you. I have girlfriends who have permanent damage, so their voices are like this always. So
Yeah.
what do you do?
So it also amazes me that nobody tells you about this, right? Like you jump into the fitness world, you hear about things left and right, recommendations, do this, do that. This is the right form, this is the incorrect form. Nobody ever talks about your voice.
No, ever.
I mean, you would think that maybe somewhere in my NASM book there was like a voice related tiny little chapter,
You would
not,
think.
not even a bullet point. Yes, it's crazy, and just like you said, it vocal cord nodules are like little calluses that form in your vocal cords, and it happens over time. So overuse and abuse of your voice is going to get you there, just like a callus that you develop on your finger because you've been writing so much,
Yeah.
or on your feet because you're a runner, things like
Hmm.
that. So just like that, you have to protect it, you have to take care of it. We don't know about it. This started when I started training in my garage. As I started training in larger spaces, I had to use my voice more. I
Hmm.
trained more frequently. We started training at the beach, we started going to parks. So all of this abuse of my voice just started like piling on top of each other.
Hmm.
I didn't get myself a microphone until I was maybe a year and a half into having my own space. And I honestly got it because I thought it was time because I was fancy now and we had a space and we had a sound system. Never did it occur to me that I was doing it to really protect and take care of my voice. Um, it's this. honestly didn't, I never saw a doctor. It didn't become an actual issue, even though I would lose my voice and my voice would be raspy, and I would attend a concert and I would lose my voice 10 minutes into the concert. It didn't occur to me that this was going to be a big problem until we started training after the pandemic with a mask.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think of that. That's horrible.
Yes. So having to project your voice with a mask on without being able to properly breathe,
Yeah.
this put me out of commission right away. And I was doing a lot of recordings at the time. So I would train, let's say, 3 to 4 classes, and then I would record another two. And to me, I was superwoman getting all this work done. However, even though I was getting super fit, losing the weight from having the baby, you know, captivating my virtual clients and keeping my business afloat and recording classes for the future to keep a private library. I never took a step back and said, wait a minute, I am killing my voice. And that's where I am now. After seeing a doctor for my voice back in December, where I was literally losing my voice every other day.
Mhm.
I would start teaching class, and maybe 15 minutes after class, I'll be mute. I
Yeah.
would literally be doing hand
Mhm.
signs to my clients after my demos. I saw a doctor, and he said, "We're gonna have to go into surgery.
Mhm.
Some cases get referred to a vocal therapist. You are going to have to get those removed." And he said, "So when are we going to schedule the surgery?" And me, being the stubborn person that I am, I said, "Well, it's December now. I'm about to start my New Year's challenge. So definitely not during my 8-week New Year challenge. Sorry, 6-week New Year challenge. So let's schedule it for mid February." And he looked at me like, "You really don't think this is a big deal, do you?" And I didn't. I was like, listen, I'll rest my voice. I have an awesome team. I'll have them cover some of my classes. And I promise I'll be better about not using it that much. Give me until mid February. By the time I reached, of course, I didn't do any of those things I promised to do because we're so busy and we're so attached. Like I
Mhm.
was attached to my morning 6 a.m. class. How am I going to give that one up?
Yeah.
And then the 10 a.m. was also virtual, and I was attached to that. And I was attached to all my challengers who signed up to have this crazy transformation for the new year. So, how am I going to pull myself back from so many classes? I was training like 5 classes on a Monday, and by Tuesday night, had already trained 7 and I was mute. So I had to really take a step back. As soon as I had my surgery, he said,
You had
um,
your surgery.
I had surgery. I had to have surgery. They removed 2 vocal cord nodules that were decent size. And I had to be on full voice rest for 2 weeks after that.
Mhm.
It is so hard to be on voice rest. How did you do with your voice
It was
rest?
horrible. I remember I would get home and my husband, we couldn't even talk. Like I remember at points like writing things down, texting things, and it was so
It's frustrating.
lonely. Which sounds crazy because like we like talking, and even if I'm standing in line at the grocery store, I always end up talking to someone. Like, and it's like you don't realize how much you use it until you are in miserable pain. Like I remember at one point I was teaching a class and it was the middle of the class and it just felt like a scab was ripped off. You know what that like, but in my throat. And I couldn't I couldn't talk anymore. And it was so I remember like it was just so painful. And someone had to come in and take over because I just couldn't nothing would come out. And I know exactly how you feel and it's horrible. It's and I know other people. It's crazy.
It's
It's
so hard to explain, right? You tell people that you have vocal cord nodules and that it hurts, and they think of it as like a sore throat, right? Like, oh, the sore throat that everyone gets. It is not. It is worse.
no.
Your vocal cords are inflamed to the point where you feel like someone is permanently pressing on your throat.
Yeah.
So if you take your fingers and you push down
Yeah.
your throat, that's how we feel all of the time. Um, and then being on vocal cord rest and not being able to use your voice is frustrating.
I can't
Imagine
even
doing it
imagine with
with
a
a
kid
baby.
too, having kids. And I don't know, I'm assuming you're the specialist or the doctor told this stuff to you, but whispering is worse.
Worse.
But humming will help. Humming, I remember I used to hum all the time and it would help, or like warm water, all those things. Cause same, I used to teach all the morning classes. So first thing in the morning, and you don't warm them up or do anything. So you just go into it. And even now talking with you, I know like we're vocal talkers. So like
Right.
yes, we use our hands, but we also like I can feel I'm like yelling almost. But it's like that's just the way we speak.
Correct. And then as I'm starting to go back, trying to not be that like yelling talker, it's hard. It's how I get my classes pumped, is how I get myself pumped.
Yeah.
So trying to keep my voice down and trying to be like the less cueing coach is just not my style. So I'm having to relearn how to do that. I'm having to relearn how to keep the music down a little bit so I don't have to scream over the music. But I love the music. It's definitely been a learning process. I have to say this has been one of the hardest things as a trainer
Yeah.
that I've had to deal with, if not the hardest. Like from a personal or physical perspective. Um, but just like everything, I take it as an opportunity to learn and pass it on and teach to other people. Number one, um, and number two, it'll be part of our story, right? It'll be part of like the things that we had to overcome and learn from. I miss teaching so much. I have now been out of the group classes for 3 months,
Oh my.
and
Yeah.
my doctor told me three. So after 3 weeks and me not being able to talk, I kept complaining. And I was like, hey, this is, you said. And he was like, you're just having a slow recovery. Like, are you resting your voice? Are you staying away from drinks that dehydrate you? No
Mhm.
coffee, no alcohol. Yes, I am. Are you doing your exercises? Are you warming up your voice? Um, it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge for sure. I'm learning from it. Learning to deal with it. My clients have been extremely supportive. My coaches at the gym, I don't know where I would be without them. They took over all my classes. They do an amazing job. I take their classes sometimes, and I'm like, wow, wow. Like I am so blessed that I was able. They had. I felt like, how am I going to just handle all my classes?
Yeah.
um, how are my clients going to react? And it flew. It literally, like, the flow was so beautiful. It was so smooth. It was so organic. I'm sure my clients miss them just as much as I miss them. But my staff has done such a great job that I look at it now and I'm like, it's amazing how the one up there takes care of
Yes.
everything.
Totally.
So here we are.
Well, hopefully sooner than later you there's hold on, there's one more thing about this that I think is crazy. So I used to teach at a boutique fitness studio in the city, and same thing, loud music, you're trying to yell over the music, and it was a startup, so there were times where the speakers or the Wi-Fi wasn't working or whatever, so we would have no mic, and it was for a class of 20 people, 30 people, and we were on rowers on the ergs, so
Oh
to
my.
yell over the noise of the was horrible. One of the coaches, she was a Broadway performer, and what's crazy is, so she had been trained how to project properly. But what boggled me, which even now when I think about it, she also had vocal issues. So it makes me think, if she's a trained profession and how to project properly, and we're not, I don't know anything about it. Now I do because I went through the problem. And she had an issue also that was ongoing. And I think even now she probably does. How is this not something that's been brought up to the fitness community?
Yes. No, we have to. I think it's our job to raise awareness, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things that nobody talks about, and it's something that everybody should be trained on. Like with my coaches, I make the mic a you know a necessary thing for class, and I tell them this, and they look at me and they're like, I don't need a mic. One of my trainers is, also was in Broadway. It's funny that you mentioned that. I have another trainer that has never used a mic, and he's like, I don't need it. I do well. My brother, who was in the Marine Corps, trains at the gym with me, and he's like, you really, I had I used to train 200 guys outdoors. You really think I need the mic? Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody's using the mic because I need them to learn from me. I don't want them to
Go
get to
through
the
this
point
horrible
where
process.
why didn't I? Yes, yes. So everybody has to use the mic at the gym. Um, we went through this, and I think it's our job to make people realize that everybody's going to go through it. I don't care how great you are projecting your voice. I don't care how little you train. We use our voice day in and day out, and you don't want to be put in a situation where you have a cranky 1 year old that wants you and you cannot even sing them a soothing song.
Yeah, totally. It's horrible. It's horrible. So, definitely there needs to be something
So
done. I
we
don't
have
know
to do
what,
more of it.
but yeah, exactly. So next thing, you are a woman who does it all. We talked about your mom, you're a wife, you're an entrepreneur. How do you maintain your I think it's more your independence outside of each role, right? That you have to play mom, you have to play wife, you are you, but to maintain you as a feminine, sexy woman, your own human. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I think that it's easy to get lost in doing all these things for everyone else, including, your business, which is for you, but it's for your family and the people. Like, how do you maintain you?
I don't have a perfect formula. I'm still learning. I do think that as I learn and I not necessarily forced, but I'm in a position where I have to pass this knowledge along. I have to then sit down and reevaluate what am I doing, and I learn from that process. So at the gym, for example, I run goal setting workshops, and I sit down and I study and I put my workshops together, and I make plans and I make planners for my clients, and I do all these things, and I apply those things to myself. I sit down and I say, well, what's working for me, what's not working, what do I have to do better, and how am I going to pass this along?
Hmm.
Having the responsibility of passing it along is really what puts me on the spot of like, what is the system you're using and how is it working?
Hmm.
So when it comes to juggling, which is essentially what we do, right? Juggling being mom, being a wife, and keeping yourself sexy and finding time for yourself, and running a business and being a good leader. Um, I don't have the perfect formula, but I can tell you that planning time management and planning my week is a big part of it.
Hmm.
I try to do something for myself every single week, whether if it's a rushed 1 hour nail appointment, or like something that I asked one of my staff members to hold me accountable for. Like, today, my team leader at the gym booked us a massage, and I have the time block for this, and we're going to go get it done. It's important to allow yourself to start thinking a little on the selfish side, right? As moms, as business owners, we always think that we have to keep filling cups and putting out little fires,
Hmm.
and we do. That's what we do all day long. But you cannot fill cups when you're empty.
Right.
So you have to allow yourself to refuel. You have to learn to say no. You have to learn to be a little selfish with your time. And that's what I tell my clients. My clients tell me, oh, I don't have time. I'm a mom. I'm always, my kids have sports, and my husband comes home at this time, and we always sit down for dinner together, and I have to work until this time. Well, there's got to be a point that you learn to put some time in there for you. Otherwise, life will.
Right.
And this is when I get a little harsh, and I tell my clients, well, let's say you continue with this lifestyle, and in 3 years you have a medical condition that forces you to see a doctor for X treatment
Hmm.
twice a week for an hour, and it's going to cost you a $40 copay.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to make time for it then because you have to, because your health said so?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, is your husband going to be able to accommodate, and perhaps you guys will order in one of the days and he'll cook dinner the other day so that you can get that health treatment done? Yes, I think so. Can you accommodate with your kids and have someone else drop them off, or schedule these appointments with your
Hmm.
doctor on the days they don't have sports? I'm probably going to have to. So then why not do it now?
Yeah. Prevent it.
Do it now. So it's a matter of like sitting down and really, doing like a bigger of a jump start, and
Hmm.
that's the beauty of the life coaching aspect of what we do, right? um we're not just trainers, we are DJs, we are therapists, we help people with life coaching, time management, learning about themselves. So I think it's important to be raw and say I don't have it all together, but every Sunday I make an attempt.
Yeah.
Do I have a perfect week all week? Absolutely not. Do I have days that I call it a day early because I am so done with life? Yes, absolutely. That was yesterday. Um, but we always aim high, and then if we fall a little lower, we still got a lot done. Is it overwhelming at times? Um, it's a matter of juggling it, and not forgetting about it. Like I love nights with my husband, so we try to, schedule some time together at some point, and we hold each other accountable on it.
Hmm.
We also we're starting to double date, right? So now we don't just have a commitment with each other, which we might put off because we're tired, let's just Netflix and chill. Now we have a double date with
Hmm.
these other people, so we gotta get pretty and we gotta go out. Yeah, you have to. Sometimes that's what you have to do, like bring that external pressure of like, okay, I gotta get it done. And at first you're gonna hate it, but then when you go out and you're getting it done, it's like, I'm glad we did this, we needed this.
Always. It's never ever regretful. It's always nice to just go dress
Right.
up, especially now because it's hard. Like, or the last year, it's hard to find an excuse to dress up. So now finding an excuse of that things are opening, it's like, oh yeah, of course, let's do it.
And now we've all become kind of like homebodies, right?
Hmm.
Now we've all like made our space prettier. Now we've all gotten used to being indoors and having fun indoors. So it's okay to stay in, but not all the time. I
Right.
think we have to learn to juggle, like, the outdoor experience, and making yourself look pretty and making yourself look sexy, right? Like we did this a lot before. The other day I was like, I haven't worn this dress in forever, and I'm gonna aim for the Kardashian today, okay? And then Dress laughs at me. My husband just laughs at me like, "Oh wow, you're wearing that?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Why
Um,
not? I mean,
we,
think you work
we have
hard
to.
for your body. You put, your time, your effort, you make time. So why not? Why not? But I think that that's why it's a hard being a mom because you're setting an example, right? And with social media, there's all these pressures of what's right, what's wrong. So it's hard to, put, and I think about it now, like I have this whole closet full of things that I used to wear. And I'm like, well, will I wear those again? Am I allowed to? Or even my bathing suits. We just got back from Miami and I'm like, most of my bathing suits, it's like very cheeky. And I'm like, this is all I have. I'm not gonna go buy like so what?
No, no,
Like,
not at all. I think, and I love that you brought this up. This is so big, right? Because a lot of times it's like, okay, well now I'm a mom, so I should wear this, and that's okay. Like I absolutely get it. I'm not going to go to my son's PTA meeting with this outfit, but I am going to go to dinner with my husband and show him that I still got it with this outfit. So I think it's finding that balance, and also portraying it. Like you should not be afraid of saying, today I decided to dress like this, and I wore this thong bathing suit, and I went to Legoland with my son last month, and I wore this other bathing suit.
yeah.
Like um, for ourselves, I think is the only reason why we have to do it, not for other people. But when you do it and you are okay showing it, you are empowering so many other people. Like there is a lot of moms out there that are thinking the same exact thing. Like, oh my God, like now I have a daughter. I'm not going to wear this. Why not? if you felt up for it and and the occasion was it, and you wanted to, feel a little sexy, absolutely go for it. Even more so now that you work so hard as a mom and that your possibilities of you going out are way smaller.
Ways more
You
slim.
miss that night out, girl.
No, it's so true because, I see like the other day I went for a run and I saw a mom walking with her daughter on the Upper West Side in the city. And the daughter's probably 8. The mom is, I don't know, it doesn't matter. She's her mom. And the mom had a completely see through dress on. Like you could see the thong and you could see her bra. And I'm like, okay, if they were on a boardwalk or on the beach, fine. But you're on the Upper West Side. There's no, like, what is the point of that, And I know that this late, and it doesn't matter, but I know that she's single. I know that she's just, trying to get a little extra attention. And that's fine. But I think that, like, that really put the gears in motion for me because I don't, like, for example, I hate wearing a bra. So when I'm with my kid, I'm supposed to wear one, or I guess I wear my sports bra like or like it makes you question every single thing. And I think being a mom is hard enough as it is,
Oh
with
my God.
including all these outside external pressures of the neighbors, the people at the grocery store, the social media, this that, and it's like for people to say things that are negative make it even like, why don't you just keep your thoughts to yourself, kind of thing.
That people are always going to have an opinion.
Right.
Um, and their opinion is very much based on their feelings and how they feel and the things they've lived. Um, so I think that you have to kind of like make yourself bulletproof to those things. If I wear something that's too covered up, someone's going to say something.
Yeah.
If I wear something that is too uncovered, someone's going to say something. So it's a matter of knowing that. And I try to inject this into my gym a lot, where instead of us looking at each other and saying, huh, well, okay, we say, oh, yeah, like badass, good job that you did that. Because then we're injecting that positivity of like, when we look at another person and we look at them from a place of judgment, we're going to have one set of thoughts. But when we look at them from a set, from an aspect of like, you are so ballsy that you're wearing that. You go, girl. Then that kind of like, uplifts us too. Like, go get it. Would I wear that to go running in the Upper West Side? Probably not. But you know what? You're doing it. Now, when it comes to, we'll also look at it, and I know that you were looking at it from the aspect of her daughter, right? Like,
Yeah.
what is her daughter thinking? I personally feel that her daughter's probably still small enough that it's not a thing, and she'll grow up to be the person that might mimic mom or might develop her own style
Yeah.
and her
Oh,
own
yeah.
feelings and go the opposite way. So I really think it's very much not just the example that we set for our kids, but the amount of love and security that we inject into their heads. Um, and they do see everything. I mean, Sebastian, my 10-year-old son, he's always like, making remarks like, "Oh, mom, um, of course you're gonna worry about what your hair looks like right now." And my comeback is always like, "Of course, like I don't want to look like a crazy person, like." Um, but it's so he's fully aware that I'm fully aware, but I always turn it around and I'm like, "Hey, listen, like this is the mom you got stuck with, kid. Like, would you prefer if I look like a crazy lady all the time?" And I call him out on things. I let him know now he dresses himself. So I'm like, dude, like those shoes with your flashy shoes are not going anywhere with that shirt. And he's like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, it does. He laughs at me all the time. And I'm sure that I'm not gonna have that problem with Sophia. But I think it's a matter of, showing them security, in a way, kind of like criticizing them from a point of like, enriching them. I'm not
Yeah.
being strong on him as like you look horrible, but just teaching them the ways and then letting them go wherever they want to go with it. I put this at the gym so much, because we're all an all girl facility. So you can only imagine where that goes.
Yeah.
But we have to, empower each other, celebrate each other. That's all it is.
It is. It's well, and I think fitness brings something to that when you have to struggle and fight for, that extra rep or whatever it is that they're struggling or fighting for. And you can only get that type of bond and community in a fit, whatever kind of fitness space it is, whether it's a dance class or, whatever it is, you can only get that in that space where you have to struggle. And you can only understand it when you do it with these people. So there's a confidence that comes with that. And I think that it's really special for a gym to create that because it's something that you can't find anywhere else.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. It's so important. And it's so important to feel, welcome and not judged while you're doing it, and to embrace the struggle. Um, and to have other people celebrate it and empower you then. Um, I tell my new clients, and it's so hard to explain this to a new client, but I let them know once you come and you experience the community, it'll pull you back
Hmm.
more than your desire to have a sexy body, more than your desire to, wear that other dress size or whatever it is. It's the feels that are going to pull you back and that are going to keep you moving. It's the
Hmm.
change of mindset. I am so blessed, knock on wood, that we don't have a gym in which people walk in and it's like, oh no, I saved that spot for my friend.
Ah, yeah.
Never, never. Like, you're the new girl and you're welcome. Like, oh my God, where did you find us? Do you have any kids? Have you trained before? Oh my God, girl, you're gonna die. You're not gonna be able to walk tomorrow. We've been there. Don't worry. To me, that's cold.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think that's everything. That's everything you could ask for in a healthy gym space, especially with women because I think women are really difficult. Like
We are.
they're well, it's hard, like because I think that women are so competitive and there's this natural catty instinct that's I don't know if it's something that we were taught when we were younger or if it I don't know, you know what I'm talking about? I don't know where it comes from, but it's really a frustrating thing when you're one of those women who are comfortable in their skin with themselves, not the jealous type, might be competitive, but it's a different type of I'm being competitive to be better and to make you better, not to push you down competitive.
Correct. And I think we're lucky enough at the gym that kind of like weans itself out. Of course, we're women and we are competitive, and I think that comes, like it's a girl thing. Guys are competitive, but they have a lot more of like a guy like
Yeah, bro.
thing
It's
going
like,
on.
yeah.
Right, right. They
They can
support
just
each other.
leave
They
it.
cover up for each
Yeah.
other. They're like, they're good at that. We're not for whatever reason. And I like, like I'm in a journey to change that. I'm in a journey to teach women that we don't have to compete. Like, together we're stronger. And I feel like that's what carries through the gym. I mean, we have challenges. We're very well known for challenges, and when I tell people that join a challenge, like, this is not going to feel like a competition, they don't believe me. And it really doesn't. Like, at the end of the challenge, yes, we have a winner. Someone takes some cash or free training or photo shoot, makeover, whatever it is that we're doing for the challenge. um but it never feels like, oh, she won.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, holy cow, she lost this much. Hell yeah, she took that home. That was amazing. So it's beautiful, but it really, it's not that it's not an easy job, but I protect our environment very much. And I have had situations where I've had to sit down with people and said, hey, listen, um, we might not be the place for you, or or I have to sit down with a group of people and say, hey guys, like, I know that you guys love what's going on inside of your particular circle, but I want to make you aware that it's making other people feel left out.
Yeah.
And we're a family. So it overall, it has taken care of itself. I can count on my hands at times that I've had to, talk to
Yeah.
people personally, but it does happen. I mean, we're girls at the
It's
end of the
bound to
day.
happen.
Yeah.
sadly.
I do.
And then the other thing that I want to talk to you about is aesthetics. So we work out, we keep our body right and tight and do all the things, to keep your body the way you want to look or aspire to look or whatever it is. Your husband is in tell a little bit about that world.
So my husband is a PA, a physician assistant, and he's specialized in aesthetics medicine. So essentially, what he does is Botox, fillers, lips, under eyes, like all the things that are going to keep you looking radiant all
Vibrant, yes.
and which is amazing. And this obviously just happened, but we complement each other so well, and we literally bounce clients off each other. Some of his clients come to him, and then they end up becoming my clients. Some of my clients end up becoming his clients. We're such a great team together because of that. To the point where I'll let you in a little secret. Um, our next gym, the next KFit, is going to be a combination of his Medi Spa and the gym.
Oh, wow, that's fun.
Well, yes, we're aiming for a place where you can literally go and
Do it
get
all.
your injectables done and maybe stay for your facial, and then
Wow,
go
that's so
and
fun.
for a class, adding the sculpting massages and all that good stuff. So we're super thrilled with the idea, and I'm sharing it because I want to put it out to the universe. A lot of people will tell you not to do that, but I know the one up there listens to me all the time, and it's happening. It's happening very soon. I can feel it. It's again, it's one of those things that started happening organically. We never even thought of this, at the beginning when we met each other, um, and it looks like it's going to happen for us, and I'm super excited for both of our clients and for ourselves, of course, to go on this journey together. Have you gotten any injectables ever
So before I was pregnant, I would get Botox.
on your forehead?
Yeah, and at one point I was thinking about doing my lips, but I felt like because it was my dermatologist that was doing my Botox,
Mhm.
and when I went in to ask him about it, he was like, "Listen, eventually," and this was a couple years back. Eventually, you're gonna get pregnant. You're gonna have a baby. Wait until you're done. Like, wait until after you have your kids,
Wow.
then you'll be able to just, I mean, I get what he was saying, and I never did it. I just stuck with the Botox. But it's very interesting because I do think that there's such a stigma to it, and I don't understand why it's so, like, I think that when your face starts looking like someone else, that's a problem. But for me personally, if I'm doing something, to prevent the fine lines, or I haven't done any of this yet, and obviously I haven't done this, you can tell, but
They do everything. And I will brag about it to the world because, again, it's one of those things that is like, it has such a stigma attached to it. Like half of my husband's clients, he can't do the before and afters. He can't brag about it because, they're naturally that great looking. But they're not. So when I met Andres, the first thing, this is going to sound really funny. The first thing I asked him that I wanted to do, I remember we were dancing, and I said, I really want to do fillers on my hands. And
why? What?
talking about, and I said, I saw probably something he had, right, like a magazine or whatever, because where else would I see this? I saw that you can do fillers in your hands if your hands look very veiny and bony.
But veiny's a good look.
But to me it wasn't at that point. I was like, oh my god, my, like, I was probably like very very thin at the time, like, and one of my times that I'm like bringing my body fat index to like, the below 20s, and I'm like, I don't like my hands right now. And he's like, I am absolutely not injecting your hands, like, get over yourself, stop looking at them, they bother you. I'm like, oh, how dare you? You're supposed to be trying to make me fall in love with you and say yes to everything I request. But then he goes, however, I do think you need your nasolabial folds on. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, like these are called, I think they're called like marionette lines, yes. And we get them when we're very expressive. Every single time that we smile, we're forming a line. And I said, but I'm too young to get stuff done on my face. And he was like, I'm going to explain it to you the way he explains it to his clients. And he said, our skin is like a piece of paper. Every time you fold that piece of paper, you're making a deeper and deeper and deeper crevice. Some people need Botox in their 20s. Some people don't need Botox until their 40s and 50s. And you're doing it as a preventative measure. So if you get it done, if you get your Botox or your fillers done on the early side of time, then you're preventing those, crevices from becoming bigger and bigger. And that was the first thing I did. I did my nasolabial folds.
You make me think look at like maybe I should, because I smile a lot.
Yes.
It's my only expression.
And it doesn't go, like it's not like you're not going to be able to smile. The lines are just going to stop, forming. And one of the things he says to his clients, now that I hear him talk to clients all the time and do consults, is he's not going to mention it to you. He's going to ask you what bothers you, and then he'll fix it. A lot of clients come to him and they're like, what would you do? And he's like, I'm not going to point out something that perhaps you haven't seen and it's not bugging you. So he'll ask them what bothers you. So that's the first question. The second question is, he tells them on a day that, for example, you put makeup on, like, where is your foundation sitting? Like if you put makeup on and you have this beautiful makeup going on, and 2 hours later you're taking a selfie or you're on FaceTime and you're like, why do I have all these crevices here and here and here and here? It's time to do something about them, right? Like they're forming on their own afterwards. He does such a beautiful, natural job that half of his clients claim it's, they don't have it done. And to me, it's like, now that I've gotten it done and I see the difference when it runs out and when I do it, I absolutely love it. There should be no shame on our game. We work so hard to keep our body looking right. Why not give our face a little help?
Yeah.
I do Botox on my 11s. I do Botox on my forehead. Right now I need it. As you can see, my forehead is full of lines when I raise my eyebrows.
Yeah.
I do Botox on my crow's feet. He does my nasolabial folds.
Yeah, you don't have any wrinkles here.
No, not at all.
They look so good.
Like,
see, I have a ton.
So yes, and then the lips. I think as long as if you get what you like, like some girls love having the big lips. If that's what's gonna roll with you, go for it.
Yeah.
If you'd rather more of their natural look, go for it. And dress is great at making people look still very asymmetrical and very, very subtle, very pretty. He'll turn people down. Like there are girls that come back to him like, I want more lips, and he's like, you're walking around with my name on your face. You're not gonna be look good with the duck lips all around town, not with my name on it. And they laugh, but they thank him,
Yeah,
because
of course.
It can become a thing where, like, if you do too much, that's your face, and you don't want to be walking around looking funky. But there shouldn't be a stigma to it. Everybody gets it done. A lot of guys get it done.
Yeah, that's what I'm learning. A lot of guys get their lips done now.
Botox is called.
Oh.
It's amazing. You know where else I get Botox? On my armpits.
I was just gonna say that because I hear that something about sweating.
Yes. So it prevents you from sweating too much. So the people that sweat a lot, like it's marking your shirts and things like that, you get Botox on your armpits and it stops the sweating. It's life changing for people that, for example, sweat on their hands or their feet too much. Also, like, Botox on their hands or your feet. So it's magic. It's magic.
It is magic. It's an incredible thing. And I feel like it just really boggles me how no one wants to talk about it.
Yeah. That's starting to go away slowly.
Yeah, I'm really glad that it is, because it is something that's like if, I don't know, I see girls and you can clearly see their lips are done. And if I say, and I've said this, wow, your lips look really good. And they pretend like, and it's like, I know they're fake, and that's fine. But just take it. Yeah, take it, and don't pretend like.
I'm creating my own movement against this. I'm very open when it comes to all these things. Like people come to me and they're like, what do you think about? Even my clients, they're like, I think I'm gonna go get surgery, and I'm like, listen, If you want to get your boobies done, go for it. There's absolutely nothing I can do about your boobs. I had my boobs done because the minute I started to lose weight, they, offered
Gone.
themselves a tribute and they were gone. Um, I didn't like my nose. I didn't like my nose. So when I did my boobies, I did my nose. I wish I would have known a dress at the time because he does what's called a liquid rhino,
Okay.
in which they do rhinoplastic with fillers, so you don't have to go through a
I
horrible.
have a round like this.
That's exactly what he fixes.
Yeah, but this is why it's crazy. I like it.
Life changing. I'm telling you. I wish I would have known him then, and I wouldn't have spent all this money on my rhinoplasty.
That's so crazy. How often would someone have to do it?
So, from what I understand, is once a year for the
That's it?
nose. Yeah, yeah,
Wow. That's
yeah.
I did see it on his page and I like I'm fine with my nose.
He
It's
does such a beautiful job. Like I see the before and afters, and I'm like, holy cow!
isn't it
And then I've taken
amazing?
videos of him doing it, and it's like watching an artist paint like on a canvas. He's like, he goes in and he injects, he comes back, like, takes it from the side view, and he comes back, looks underneath. It's beautiful. He loves what he does, and it really shows.
Wow, that it is it's important as with what you're doing with what people are doing. It's you have to have a passion for, otherwise it's awesome. And what else? What else is going on with you?
Um, that is all, baby. Super, super, super excited for what's next with KFit. Obviously, keeping the ball rolling when it comes to my business with hubby, but also maybe growing the men's program, incorporating some programs for moms. Now that I went up through having Sophie and getting myself back in shape, just like you did so freaking beautifully. Like,
Thanks.
wow.
I do have a question for you also, because you did, and I think that there also another thing that there's a stigma to. You had a scheduled C-section.
Yes, yes,
You
I did.
carried this girl for months and months and months, and then you want to deliver how you want to deliver. Fine. What's up with like what? Why is there an issue with it?
Um, I think that a lot of people think of the C-section as like not necessarily a lazy way out, but yes, like they'll talk to you about like why would you want to do that? Like the actual experience you're missing out. I wanted a scheduled C-section with my first. I found a doctor that was okay with it. The reason why I wanted that is because I grew up in a my mom and my aunt are nurses, and I grew up in a delivery floor. Like my mom would bring me to work, then my aunt would take me back home, and I would hang out in the lockers for a good 20 minutes between their shift change. Hear all this like things that were going on, and I was like, oh my god, this is horrendous. um, then when I started growing up, I continued like seeing my mom, my aunt. They had scheduled C sections, and they're nurses and they work in this field, right? So it makes you think like, why are you choosing this? And then I became my best friend's birth coach,
Mm.
and I was her birth coach. And she wanted to do it all natural, which I give her all the credits for. But sure enough, after trying natural for like 2 hours, she changed her mind. She requested an epidural. Her eyes were rolling to the back of her head. I couldn't help her. She had to sit through horrible contractions while getting her epidural. And I said to myself that I am not putting myself through this. Um, Nathan, who is her son, was born a healthy, handsome boy. And I said to myself, nobody's going to give her a trophy for going through all that. This is her trophy, like, um, and after that experience, I was like, I'm definitely going for a scheduled C-section with my first. So I found my doctor who agreed to it. He said some people choose to do this, and that's okay. Again, it's something that has a lot of stigma to it, but I'm okay with it. Then halfway through my pregnancy, I started going to yoga and connecting with my body. And I said, but I want my water to break and to have to call everybody. Oh my God, rush to the hospital. So I said, I'm going to try natural. And I went back to my doctor and I said, I think I changed my mind. I think I want to go natural. And he said, okay, no problem. That changes nothing. We just, your due date is your due date. We won't schedule the C-section. Continue with it. And then he ended up being a C-section because I wasn't dilating at all. Um, and we started having complications, so we went in for a C-section. After having him as a C-section, having my second one as a C-section to me was a no-brainer. I was like, I'm not putting myself to the trying again and sitting there while, hoping to get dilated, getting tons of drugs, putting her at this point
Yeah.
through the stress of like trying for natural. And I just booked it. I booked it and I did my hair and my nails the day before. And I trained up until 2 days before she was going to be born. And it was amazing. It was perfect. The recovery is longer, but I was ready for it this time around. It wasn't a surprise. I knew what I needed. Um, and I still have my gorgeous little trophy walking around with her curly head. Does not make me any less of a mom, even though some people feel like it does. And that's what it is. Some people want to try. Kudos to you. Some people try and they're successful with a natural birth. Take my hat off to you. Some people want to have a C-section, and at the end of the day, it's our bodies. We already go through so much during those 9 months of cooking this baby. And then what we go through afterwards. Listen, don't even get me started on breastfeeding, because we should have an episode strictly on that subject.
We can.
Yeah, totally should. People need to talk about breastfeeding more. People need to tell you the real aspect of breastfeeding. So I really think we just have to be more mindful of the things we tell other people when they choose to have a C-section, or if they choose to have a natural birth, or if,
whatever it is.
Birth, whatever it is. Listen, you had a baby. Awesome.
Yeah, I really commend you for just owning it. I mean, in all aspects, you are one of the realest people I know, and you just say it what it is, and that's it. And I think that you can only appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think we need more people that are both like us.
Yeah, just say.
So that, more moms and more women feel comfortable saying as it is,
Yeah.
Someone's always going to have an opinion out there. They
totally.
are.
That's it. It's that simple.
And it's just a reflection of how they feel and how much they love themselves.
That's it.
Period.
Okay, so before we wrap up, website, social media, whatever else you got to share.
Thank you. So our website is kfitny.com, kfitny.com. Social media handle, my personal, is kfitny. And then the gym is KFit Boutique Gym.
Okay.
That's how you will find us on all social medias. It was such a pleasure to be here with you, babe. I admire you so much. You're such a boss mom. You're an amazing coach. And I love seeing your journey from when, before you had the baby, to seeing you through pregnancy to now. The amount of people that you are inspiring, it's, triple what you possibly can think of. And then this podcast on top of it, really cherry on top.
Thank you.